Yo, what is going on, you guys? Welcome back to another video. In this one, I wanted to give a few tips for online classes because whether you like it or not, you're probably enrolled in at least one in this fall semester, and there might even be a bunch of online classes in the spring. And I've had my fair share of them from now. I've had 4 in the last spring semester, and I had 1 over the summer, so I've gotten kind of accustomed to it, and I've learned a few things, and I wanted to share that with you guys. As always, timestamps are below, and let's get into it. The first tips are going to be for during class. So like while you're watching a live Zoom session, your camera might be on or off depending on the teacher and how many people are in your class. But the first tip is to do handwritten notes. And I know in college, a lot of people have the tendency to switch to all virtual notes, which is cool for in-person classes. And in in-person classes, oftentimes when you just see a bunch of people around you taking notes, either on their laptop or writing them, it makes you more motivated and pressured to take notes yourself. But on online, you don't have that. It's only you, and it's only what you decide. So I found handwritten notes to be much better than typing them, because when you're typing them, you have to go back and forth between tabs, between Word and Zoom, and then you might miss some stuff, and you're learning in a way that is staring at the screen the whole time. So having something to just look down on and physically write is going to be a nice break from that. And it's going to keep you paying more attention, because in online classes you have the tendency to lose your attention span really quickly, especially if you have this bad boy sitting next to you the whole time. I'll admit I've fallen victim to this so much times. I'll just have my phone next to me and I'll see a notification and I just go and check it, and then that just turns to 10 to 15 minutes on your phone, and then you look up and you're like, holy crap, what did I miss? And again, in person you have that pressure of like the professor seeing you and you're on your phone, but here you don't really have that, so you're going to be a lot more inclined to get distracted that way. The next thing I have to say is please make sure your mic is muted at all times that you're not talking. If you don't know how to do that, I'll just quickly start a meeting to show you. Basically, just right here is the mute button, and just have that muted at all times. There's just so many times when my teacher's talking and it's like a 50-60% class, and then a random person just starts screaming at their parents or something like that, and it interrupts the whole class, and it's kind of funny, but you don't want that to happen to you. And also, if you wanted to test your mic, go to the Zoom homepage here, press settings, press audio, and then you can change all of your inputs there. And yeah, there's a bunch of settings you can do. You can add a background there too. Also, if you're chatting and you want to do a private message, please make sure everyone is not selected, because I've also seen that happen when someone is trying to message one person in the class and then they end up messaging the entire class, and it's kind of funny, but you don't want that to happen to you. And kind of going along with that, if you're like me and you get anxiety sometimes when you want to ask a question in front of the whole class, one great thing you can do on Zoom is just to private message your teacher and ask that question. They'll be the only ones that can see it, and usually they'll respond by saying the question anonymously, so you can get your answer without actually having to speak. Alright, now it's time for some breakout room etiquette. When you're in a breakout room, in my experience, they usually put you in breakout rooms with like 1 to 4 other people. It can be really awkward at first, like it still is honestly every time that it happens, especially if they put you in with random people each time. But that's not to say you don't get a bit more comfortable with it over time. The main reason you'd be put into a breakout room is to work on a problem separately, and then they'll come back to the main session and everyone will share their answers or something like that. So if you get into it and everyone's just dead silent, it's probably because they're all working on the problem. But if no one says anything in like 4 or 5 minutes, you might just want to say, and it'll be awkward, but you might just want to say, hey guys, did you get C? Or like, how did you guys do this part? Or something like that. And 9 times out of 10 you'll get a response, and then that usually leads to a conversation about the question, and it's pretty normal after that. But then there is that odd time when no one just says anything, and then at that point I wouldn't try to go any further and try to keep asking them stuff, because they're just not going to be willing to talk, and then it's just less awkward to just not say anything and just have a silent breakout room and then come back and hope everyone has the same answer. If you get into the breakout room and people start talking immediately, then that's honestly a good sign, because then you could actually work through the problem together like you're meant to. If you're pretty quiet like me though, you can pitch in something every once in a while. People aren't going to really care that much. But if you are that one person that stays silent the entire time with no input, that's pretty annoying for the other people involved. Just saying, say at least a couple things. And then the absolute worst is when you get into a breakout room and then people just like leave their desks and they either shut off a webcam or you're like staring at their wall or something. Like, a breakout room does not mean take a break. But it does happen, and if that happens, just stay silent and do your own thing. But yeah, outside of that, make sure you're doing the class in a place that's like your workplace. So don't take your class on your bed or on like a couch or something. I've seen a few people do that, and I've seen a few people fall asleep while their camera was on. And as you can imagine, that was probably really embarrassing and The teacher hasn't really called them out for it in my experience so far, but I wouldn't be surprised if one does. And also that's just good because whenever you are actually working and whenever you are spending time to yourself, it just separates the two and makes your work more productive and your leisure time more enjoyable. This is my workstation. This is where I work. This is where I go to my online classes. This is where I watch my videos. This is where I make videos. This is where I game. And this is where I sit when I'm FaceTiming people and stuff. And trust me, that is not really a good thing for my productivity. So if you have enough space available, try to not mix them up. Now, you will have some gems of teachers that record the entire lectures, that answer every question that people say, that draw or write their entire answer out on like the whiteboard. Then you're also going to have bad teachers that just lecture the whole time, don't even give much time for questions, calling people randomly, stuff like that. So a lot of how good the class is going to be teacher based. Also, if your lectures are only recorded or you're not required to go to them live, I would still try to make the best effort possible to go to them live, because it's not going to do any good for you if you're watching your lecture at 11 p.m. or midnight the day before the assignment on that topic is due. Just save yourself that stress, attend it when you were meant to do it on your normal schedule. Or if you don't even have a schedule, create one for yourself. Make sure you have a time frame on every day that you have that class to watch this video this time, watch this video this time, and set out deadlines for whenever you want to complete stuff too. One method I found really worked for me when working was the Pomodoro method, I think it's called. It's basically when you work with no distractions for 25 minutes, and just put your phone away, try to keep your computer off unless you're working on it, and just go at it for 25 minutes. And then take a 10-minute break on your phone or watch a video or something, and then go back to working and just keep doing that until you get to the end of whatever you want to do. Also, if you're willing to, creating a group chat for your Zoom class might actually be really helpful, because even though you're not seeing these people in person most likely, you can still talk to each other, figure out problems, figure out deadlines and stuff, because those become a lot more unclear through online classes. For example, my buddy Smear created one for our econ class in the summer, and every day there was people just like asking questions about the homework for the day, asking what other people got, how they got it. A lot of people were sharing their work and stuff, and it was just a really nice thing to have, and I'm not sure I would have got through that class as well as I did without it. Again, only if it's something you think you'll want. You can either just be like my friend and ask the teacher if it's okay through the Zoom chat, and she said it was cool, so then he just posted the link in the Zoom chat and everyone who wanted to join joined. Or you could go about it a bit more privately and create a group me link and then just private message everyone in the Zoom, just saying like, if you want to join, here's a group me, and it could work out that way too. But one disclaimer I do have to say with this is try not to use this to like cheat on tests and stuff. There's a big scandal at our school about like this huge chem class that got busted for cheating through their group meet. A lot of people got in trouble for that, especially the ones who use Chegg and stuff like that too. And yeah, during tests and stuff, make sure you know what you can and can't use. A lot of the times with online classes, teachers are going to be like, you can use the internet, you can use your notes, because they can't really find a way to control that. But for some classes it can be pretty strict. They can track if you leave the tab, and in my like small classes that were like 15-20 people, they made everyone keep their webcam on through the test, so they can make sure that you weren't looking stuff up on your phone and stuff like that too. Getting caught in an online class is probably much more embarrassing than getting caught in person, honestly. But if going back and looking at recordings really does help you, like it does me, and your teacher doesn't record it, then it might be worth it just to download a screen recorder and screen record the Zoom lectures. That way, even if they don't post the recordings, you still have them. They might not like it, but you know, they'll never find out. If you have multiple Zoom classes back to back, that can get pretty annoying. So especially if one of them doesn't require you to have a camera on, eat something during it, or if you can in the break between them, then that's even better. But yeah, don't stay starving just because you have to sit at your desk all day. Try to get some food during it too. But if your camera's on, just don't eat too obnoxiously, if you know what I mean. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is take advantage of office hours in an online class. I know in my freshman year, I didn't go to like any office hours because it was just too much of a hassle to go all the way to the classroom at an odd time and just wait in line for people to talk. But in the office hours I've gone to for online classes, it's been more of like a virtual Q&A session where all you have to do is just click a link and there'll be a few people in there asking questions, or if it's just you can ask whatever you want. And it's something that helped me a ton in these past classes. Some of the people had similar questions as me, some of them asked stuff that I didn't even know I was confused about until they asked it, and then it cleared it up in my head. And alongside the content, it helped me become more familiar with the professor, which was nice. Overall, I'd just say if you keep that same mindset, if you treat this class like you would any in-person one, you should be alright. If you have any questions about like using Zoom or honestly anything, drop them down below. I'll be happy to answer them. Good luck on this first semester of classes. Sorry for you freshmen, this is how you start, but it is what it is. We're going to get through this hopefully sooner than later. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you later. Peace out.